Hey, I'm golf broadcaster Matt Adams. The updated and expanded second edition of my book, The Golf Round I'll Never Forget, Golf's Biggest Stars Recall Their Finest Moments, is now available. Readers can expect to march with Arnie's Army at the 1960 U.S. Open, relive Jack Nicklaus's remarkable 1986 Masters win, and be amazed by the Tiger Slam. The Golf Round I'll Never Forget, Golf's Biggest Stars Recall Their Finest Moments. Pick it up where fine books are sold, including BarnesandNoble.com and Amazon.com.
Thrive Suite Productions. And welcome to another edition of This Day in Sports History. It's January 9th, and on this day in 1963, Art Modell fired Paul Brown as coach of the Cleveland Browns. Paul Brown was a beloved coach, and the team was named after him. Modell was the frontman for a group of New Yorkers who purchased the team in 1961 and was the acting owner. A bit unlike coaching changes now, which tend to happen hours or a day or two following the team's final game of the season, Modell waited 3 weeks after the Browns closed out the 1962 season with a 7-6-1 record. There is speculation that Modell waited to make his decision to time it with a writer's strike in the Cleveland area, meaning there wouldn't be anything written about the firing in the local papers. Brown had been the coach in Cleveland since 1946, compiling 167 wins against 53 losses in his 17 seasons. He won 7 championships, 3 of those in the NFL, with his last one coming in 1955. His only losing season as coach of the Browns was in 1956. At the time of the firing, Brown was 54 years old, truly a living legend, and loved by most everybody in Northeast Ohio. And his departure caused a seismic shift in the NFL. Brown said a rift developed between him and Modell, and was quoted as saying that Modell wanted to take a more active part in the actual team aspects formerly assigned to me as part of my contract. That rift apparently started just after Modell bought the club, when Brown traded 2 players to bring in the current Heisman Trophy winner at the time, running back Ernie Davis, without consulting Modell. Modell tried to regain control of the situation by negotiating Davis's contract without input from Brown, and then apparently overpaid him, and then put pressure on the coach even more by guaranteeing a championship. In the aftermath of his firing in 1963, Brown spearheaded the formation of the Cincinnati Bengals, who started playing in 1968 and then joined the NFL in 1970 after the merger with the AFL. With the Bengals, Brown coached 8 seasons and won a little less than half his games there. Paul's son Mike said years later, getting the Bengals up and running was our redemption. It was very glorious in the old days when we played Modell's Browns. When we won, we rejoiced in that. After the 1976 season, Paul left the sidelines, serving as vice president and general manager of the Bengals until he passed away in August 1991 at the age of 82. Brown's successor in Cleveland was Blanton Collier, who guided Cleveland to the NFL title in 1964, as Modell promised, but that is the last time the Browns have won or even played in a championship. Modell would go on to more infamy when he moved the Browns out of Cleveland to Baltimore after the 1995 season, firing another soon-to-be legendary coach, Bill Belichick, a few weeks later. Modell's decision to move the Browns franchise appears to be the sticking point for why he is still not in the Football Hall of Fame. But his decision to fire Paul Brown on this day in 1963 was his first questionable decision as an owner. Also on this day, in 1972, the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Los Angeles Lakers 120-104, ending the Lakers' winning streak at 33 games. The future Laker, but at this point Milwaukee Buck Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, scored 39 points and grabbed 20 rebounds in the win. But the key to the Bucks' win that night is linked more to the defensive play of Milwaukee's guards rushing back on defense, stifling the Lakers' fast break attack. The Lakers' 33-game winning streak is still the longest in major professional sports history. And in 2005, Minnesota Vikings receiver Randy Moss caught a touchdown at Lambeau Field against Green Bay and then celebrated by fake mooning the crowd in the end zone. Moss later defended the celebration by saying that's how Packers fans would send the opposing team's bus off to the airport after a win. That's all for today. Thanks for stopping by and giving this episode a listen. If you like the show and have a brief moment, how about leaving a 5-star review and a comment on Apple Podcasts? That would be greatly appreciated. Also, check out the show notes for other ways to help the show, or if you'd like to send me an email, the email address is in there as well. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll be back tomorrow with another This Day in Sports History.
Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, aka the Football History Dude, and I hope that you enjoyed this recent episode presented by the Sports History Network and were able to learn some good old-fashioned sports history knowledge nuggets. I started the Sports History Network back in 2020 with the mission to help podcasters find a community of like-minded sports history nerds, as well as helping aspiring podcasters to start their own shows. We have a little bit over 30 shows on the network right now covering all sorts of sports history, but as far as I'm concerned, we're just at the toothpick in the ocean moment, that can't even figure it out because there's so much more coming. We wanted to create the ultimate headquarters for sports yesteryear, starting with Podcast Network and our website, but we're going to continue to move into other mediums as well. And here's the cool part, because we want you to be part of our team. So if you're interested in starting your own podcast, or maybe being a guest on one of our shows, or who knows, maybe even writing an article for us over on the website. Seriously, all you gotta do is reach out to us on the contact page over at sportshistorynetwork.com. You can be as technologically savvy as a Neanderthal tapping on a stone trying to figure out this whole hieroglyphics thing back in the day. Again, it doesn't matter, because even if you don't understand the whole podcast space, we have a production team that can pretty much help you out with doing everything. All you gotta do, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com, head to the contact page, fill it out. That message goes right to me, and I'll reach out to you as soon as I can. But for now, dude, I'm through if you're through.